Hello, hello, everyone. Um, Finally being obedient. I was supposed to post this video like what beginning of August when this took place, and that never happened. So here I am. I won't be before y'all long. Just want to get this out. So yeah, it was like the first or second weekend of August. My brother Marcus coordinated a trip for us to go on to a spring, and I hadn't been to a spring, or hadn't been. It had been a while since I'd been to a spring. So, and I have a son, Jeremiah. So it's like, oh, it'll be fun, and nice to link up with family that you don't get to see very often. So we decided to go, and we had to wake up dark, like dark 30 in the morning. It was so early. Like I think I woke up at like 4 o'clock. Had to leave at like 5:30 to get where we were gonna go. So I tried to be good, pack most of the stuff we needed the day before, and then finish packing that morning because I'm extra. I'm that mom. I'm gonna bring everything under the sun, and best believe when I get there, somebody's gonna be like, "Ooh, you bought this," or "Ooh, you thought of that," or I'm gonna be thankful that I packed everything under the sun. So yeah, I had a huge bag of stuff and what, but we was prepared, right? So we um I get up, I had Jeremiah pretty much dressed because I didn't, I just let him sleep in what he was going to wear because I knew he was going to be getting up early. And we got out the house. And I knew I had to stop at the ATM because I knew we had to pay to park. So thank God I got cash because they didn't accept cards. Excuse me. So I stopped at the ATM, like down the street from my house. And, got back in the car and realized that I'm trying to think. I got gas the day before, so I didn't have to get gas. So I just stopped at the ATM. Got back in the car and realized that I did not have my door key. Just had my car key. So I had also thought I forgot his mask, or remember that I didn't pick it up. I remember seeing it, but I didn't pick it up because this is still during the whole what we have going on. So I had to make sure we had our masks. So I was like, oh, okay, I got the money from the ATM. I was like, okay, I'm right down the street from the house. Let me just go back to the house. Or is that how it happened? Got to the ATM. And I was actually about to get up on the expressway. Yeah, I was about to get up on I-4 to head to where we were going. It was going to take me about 2.5 hours to get there. And I was like, oh, shoot, no. One, I didn't have my key. And then two, I knew I had left his mask. So I'm talking to my dad because, I wanted to see if he had gotten up. I called my brother. He didn't answer. And my dad finally called me back. He was like, I'm up, I'm getting ready. Okay. Boom. So I was like, well, they still getting ready to leave. So I got time. So I was like, well, let me go back to the house and find his mask. No, I didn't realize I lost my key until I got back to the house. That's what it was. I went back to the house to get his mask that I knew I had lost. And upon getting out of the car to go into the house, I realized I didn't have my door key. It's usually on the ring, with my car key. And I was like, oh, shoot, this isn't good. How am I going to get in the house? And then, of course, my brain went to, what if I had got on the expressway and didn't have my key and, got home and couldn't get in the house? Like, my mind was just going all over the place. So I'm looking in the car, looking under the seat. And somehow I pulled up into the same parking spot I was in before. So I'm looking all around the parking spot. Didn't find my keys. Didn't see them. And I always say something told me, but God told me to walk to my door. So I'm walking the path to my front door, looking on the ground still, looking. Don't see it. Get to my front door. My keys were on the floor. My keys were on the ground at my front door. Now, mind you, had I gotten on the expressway, gotten to the destination, I would have been without my keys. My keys would have still been on the ground outside my door. So, one, thank God I had left his mask so I could come back. And then, two, I'm just thankful that I was being obedient, because I would have pulled off and left my keys. Or, yeah, I did stop at the gas station because I was like, oh, let me go back up to the gas station. Maybe, the keys are there, and I was like, no, no, no. That still small voice told me to go walk to my front door. So thank God I was obedient, and I walked to my front door, and lo and behold, my keys were beside my doormat in front of my door. Y'all. So when I tell you, when you hear that voice, when you hear God speak to you and he tells you to do something, you do it. Because I can also share another time when I'm thankful that I listened to God, and I stopped and I just dropped everything and did what he told me to do. So, my grandma recently passed, God rest her soul, and she had been battling lung cancer. So I would go and see her when I could and call as much as possible. But what happened? I think I had finally called her after a while. I'm not gonna lie. Like a couple days before my birthday, and I had already planned that weekend to just chill at home. Like, I had lined up, Jeremiah was going to go to this person's house this day, go to this person's house that day. Mama was gonna have her weekend, right? I mean, I don't care if I was just in the house chilling. I was gonna have my weekend quiet by myself, right? And so, when I called my aunt, that's when she tells me grandma had been in the hospital, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, that guilt set in. I'm like, I should have been called, I should have been reached out. Like, I didn't know what was going on because I hadn't called. So I was like, man, that's supposed to be my weekend. I'm supposed to be, doing me and celebrate my birthday. So I went on with my plans, had my whole full birthday for me and whatnot, and then it just was laid on my heart, go spend the weekend with your grandma. I know it's supposed to be your birthday weekend. I know you're supposed to have your time, and you're supposed to be kid free, right? Go spend the weekend with your grandma. And so I did, and I made sure that Jeremiah came too, because I've always been in the mindset, as soon as they can understand what's going on. He knew grandma was sick. He needs to be there to see, how she's doing, and so that in the event that she does pass, he understands better. He doesn't just see, oh, grandma's doing fine, and then next minute we know she's gone. No, he needed to see her decline, and he needed to see grandma was sick, and now grandma's in a better place. So I made sure we went up there to Jacksonville that weekend, spent that weekend with her, laid in the bed talking to her, just laid in the bed with her. We didn't always talk. I was just there with her. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I got back home, after that weekend, and then I want to say that Sunday, because that following week, they told me she started to decline, and she wasn't eating, she wasn't drinking, she wasn't really talking. And then I think my aunt told me they called in hospice and they increased her pain meds. And so I was able to have peace in knowing that I did go and see her. I did spend that time with her. I did, she did know me. She did know who we were, and she, was able to still, have time with us before her transition. So I say all this to say, be obedient. If you haven't called a friend or family member in a while, and it lays on your heart to call them, and even if it's just a text, but you should call. Give them a call. If they are laid on your heart, God has laid that person on your heart for a reason. You never know what they're going through. um, they may be dealing with one of the toughest struggles of their life. They may just be having a hard day. Who knows? But God does everything for a reason. So if He lays it on your heart to call someone, to reach out to them, do it. You never know when it will be your last. And so, like I said, I sit here and I'm so thankful, because had I not gone to spend that weekend with her, I would have been completely devastated. Completely devastated, because the next time that I actually talked to her, she couldn't talk back to me. All she could do was sit there and listen, because she could still hear, but she wasn't talking. So the last thing I was able to tell her was, "It's okay, Grandma. You can go. You can rest. I know you're tired. I love you." And she couldn't respond. She couldn't talk back to me. So I'm thankful that I did go that weekend, and we laughed, we joked. She told me, stories like she would always tell me. Um, she was able to spend time with Jeremiah. He was able to see her, and I was able to give her flowers, because she would always tell me, "I want my flowers while I can see and smell them." So I made sure I got her and my aunt some flowers, and she was able to see and smell them. So again, I just want to leave this with you. Be still and listen. When God brings a thought to your mind, a person to your remembrance, or He, lets you know that this is something you need to do, this is a person you need to go talk to, this is someone you need to reach out to, do it. He is doing that for a reason. It's not just a coincidence, it is for a reason. So I just leave that little nugget with y'all. Be obedient and listen to that still small voice. It is there for a reason. Thank y'all for listening, and have a good night.